The Hillary Clinton thing, she's insane. You know, you want to talk about conspiracy theories. First of all, she's the one that started the Barack Obama conspiracy theory about the birth certificate.
Yeah, her campaign.
It was her campaign.
They outlined the strategy in campaign memos.
She was the first one to start the vast right-wing conspiracy. This woman is a conspiracy nut job. Now
a multiple decade record of conspiracy theorizing,
and all just to cover up how many people they killed.
I don't know if that's the most credible argument to make that point, but I like it.
Yeah, thank you. So the latest conspiracy now is that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian spy.
We have Hillary outlining this theory. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, here
she is from some podcast. I think it's David Plouffe's podcast.
They're also going to do third party again. And I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And
unbelievable.
That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not because she's also a Russian asset.
Agent,
yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally. And so they know they can't win without a third party candidate. And so I don't know who it's going to be, but I will guarantee you they'll have a vigorous third party challenge in the key states that they most need it.
This is the most incredible conspiracy I have heard. Okay, first of all, let me just state this before we go into the actual conspiracy. Let me just say this. Who is the most likely benefactor of a third-party candidate who people perceive as a moderate Democrat? Who's the most likely benefactor of that? A perceived moderate Democrat in today's climate. A perceived moderate from the Democratic Party.
I mean, it partially matters who the Democrats run, right?
Let's say it's Elizabeth Warren.
It's Elizabeth Warren.
And Tulsi Gabbard comes in as a third party. Who has more to lose?
Well, I've seen more passion, honestly, for Tulsi Gabbard on the right than I have the left.
Correct. So if you want, now listen, I'm telling you right now, Elizabeth Warren is Woodrow Wilson. It's like he just came back from the dead and like, somebody take off my top hat and put me on stage. She's Woodrow Wilson.
And he was a guy who was nearly dead when he was in office.
Yes, he is. Yes. Okay, so how did he win? He was put into office because of a third-party candidate. And that third-party candidate was a progressive going against the Republican. So he was the crazy radical. He was Elizabeth Warren. Teddy Roosevelt is Tulsi Gabbard. Teddy Roosevelt was known as, a war hero, a tough guy, somebody who had common sense and some grit. But his policies were more radical in the run-up than Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was not the radical in that race.
He hit a lot of what he was trying to do behind, rhetoric and real lying as well.
Correct. Yeah, absolute out lying.
And you see this with Elizabeth Warren as well. There's certainly a parallel.
Right. So if you want Woodrow Wilson, you have to have a third-party spoiler, one that will peel votes away from Donald Trump. Now, diehard Donald Trump are not going to Tulsi Gabbard, but people who are just Democrats who are like, I just want some common sense Democratic candidates, please. I'm not for socialism. I want somebody who loves the country. That's Tulsi Gabbard in their mind. And if they voted for Donald Trump, what are they trying to do? You'll see this rhetoric. If you read the press, you'll see this rhetoric. People are getting tired of having to defend Donald Trump. he's an agent of chaos. He's causing most of this chaos, not other people. Okay? And partially true. And so if you're somebody who was in the middle and you voted for Donald Trump, but you didn't really want to vote for Donald Trump, and then he got into office and you're like, I like some of his policies, but he's just, tweeting at 3:00 in the morning, and that's just too much for me. I can't take all of this anymore. And someone who appears to love the country and appears to be common sense, they will peel it off. So the third party, Hillary, if it's Tulsi Gabbard, does not hurt the Democrat. It hurts the Republican. So I don't think this is a Russian plot as much as it would be a Democratic plot. And I don't think it's a plot.
Right. She just happens to be a candidate that disagrees on some of these things. And, that does make sense. I mean, look, the last election turned on people who wound up, known as Obama-Trump voters. They voted for Obama and then switched to Trump in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are the types of people that Tulsi Gabbard would probably appeal to.
Correct.
So, that does not mean that it would... First of all, we should point out, this is just a conspiracy theory from Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
she has no evidence to support
Tulsi
this.
Gabbard said she's not running. She's
already ruled it out.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason to believe that this is happening. But if it were to happen, it wouldn't even be a good conspiracy theory.
No.
It's actually something that could endanger Donald Trump's reelection.
Correct.
We should also point out that we can't just brush over the fact that she outlaid another conspiracy theory in there, saying that Jill Stein is a Russian asset. What evidence do we have of that, other than the fact that she ran as a Green Party candidate? But that's not
Look, and saying somebody's a Russian asset, could we just talk about this here for a second? What is Russia? What is their goal? What is their goal?
I mean, chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to destroy the United States of America. They do not want us to be a leading superpower anymore. So they don't care. They just want chaos. They want distrust. They want hatred between people and between parties. We're looking at, they're a Russian asset. Anyone who they can pit against one another, anyone that they can use, they will use. It doesn't mean that you're with Russia or you're working for Russia. Russia can work for anyone that will cause chaos. Support them. But it might be found out. Good. It'll cause even more chaos. That's all this is.
Yeah.
And Hillary is playing right into their hands.
You know what? Hillary Clinton is a Russian asset.
She's an asset.
She's doing it because Russia told her to do it. That's what happened.
How crazy is that?
I mean, it's I will say she's getting the shine is gone from Hillary Clinton at this point, even among Democrats, and she is getting from the media. She's getting it from Democrats. I mean, this is not being received well.
I'm telling you, she's so crazy that if Joe Biden collapses, she thinks she's going to go in and she'll take it.
Really?
I really believe she has totally lost touch with reality. Look at what she's been saying lately.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any idea what reality is anymore. She really believes that this was taken from her. She is convinced herself that this was a massive plot and that the people are screaming for her.
After we had to sit through time after time after time in 2016 where they lectured us about how Donald Trump, if he loses, he's going to say it wasn't fair and this is an attack on our democracy. This is an attack. Now she's saying she lost because of Russian agents in the election. I mean, I guess we should have picked it up when she said vast right-wing conspiracy, but the woman is just a conspiracy theorist. And they just basically ran the Democrat Alex Jones in 2016, and I expected none of us to notice.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is amazing.
Yeah. It's incredible. So here, do we have the audio of Tulsi Gabbard coming out? This is really a great response. Listen to Tulsi Gabbard and what she said.
I am not afraid to openly express my love for our country. But if they can falsely portray me as a traitor, then they can do it to anyone. And in fact, that's exactly the message that they want to get across to you. that if you stand up against Hillary and the party power brokers, if you stand up to the rich and powerful elite and the war machine, they will destroy you and discredit your message. But here is the truth. They will not intimidate us. They will not silence us. We are not here just to protest their corruption. I am running for president to take the Democratic Party and our country back from the corrupt elite.
Tell me that doesn't resonate with a ton of Democrats. Now, they all want to beat Donald Trump, but there is I think there's a lot of people that think if it's Elizabeth Warren, she's crazy. And if it's just between her and Donald Trump, I'd probably vote for Trump, but I won't tell anybody. But if I have somebody who's got the message of, I want my party back, et cetera, and I'm not talking about the diehards. I'm talking about the people who voted for Donald Trump last time who are Democrat.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of those.